The provost finally announced more information about the spring semester, but it's not the announcement some students were hoping to hear.
Pfizer has big news about its COVID-19 vaccine, but a USC professor says it's not time to celebrate just yet.
A USC photographer shares how his grandmother's resilience inspires his work. That's in this week's Quarantine Creatives.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
We have new details tonight about the spring semester. The provost announced Wellness Day since there will be no spring break. I'm Hebroni reporting from Los Angeles.
And I'm Ani-Offiong, also reporting from Los Angeles. The university is also extending the pass-no-pass grading option for the spring semester. Next spring, students will be able to choose a pass-no-pass grading option until the last day of classes. The deadline to withdraw from a course will also be extended through April 30th. Students are happy about this option, but think the university should take a step further.
You know, I personally am not happy about it. I'm not unhappy about it, but, you know, it puts me in a tough position where I feel like I have less incentive to work as hard on classes as I would normally. I probably won't do pass no pass, but I wish that we could just return to things as normal as they were.
I'm glad that they've continued doing the pass no pass option for last semester, this semester, and I guess for the upcoming spring semester. But I think it is kind of difficult that they have that limit on the number of classes that you can take pass no pass. It's still only 24 units, and that's not even 2 full semesters worth of classes. So like if for some reason someone had to take every single class for 1 semester pass fail because of like sickness or, you know, something happening in their family, they won't have the option to do that for all of their classes again in the semester after that.
The spring 2021 Wellness Days will give students 5 non-consecutive days instead of a traditional spring break. Some of the days fall on Fridays and late in the semester. That's drawn reaction from students.
I think it's a good replacement instead of spring break. I know we're not having spring break next semester, but I also think that I looked at some of the days and I think almost half of them are Fridays. I know a lot of students already don't have class on Friday, so it doesn't really add anything. And a random Tuesday and Wednesday here and there, I don't think that professors will necessarily listen to it because like this semester, with the shortened semester, a lot of professors just overloaded on work in order to make up for missing class days at the end.
I mean, if you look at like USC, it's obviously a private university. It's run like a business. And so, you know, end of the day, they're trying to keep their image and make sure their reputation stays strong. So I think their reasoning behind the 5 wellness days versus a spring break is really, you know, important to look at because they don't want to seem like a school that's promoting travel in a pandemic right now that's taking the lives of, you know, a couple 100,000 people. So I think, you know, it's definitely not ideal, but I don't think there's too many ideal situations from a student's perspective, but I think it was the right move from the universities.
Right now, state and LA County restrictions prevent USC from resuming on-campus activities.
Some promising news about a COVID vaccine today, possibly coming before the end of the year. Drug maker Pfizer developed the vaccine along with the German company BioNTech. The company said in trials, the vaccine was successful in preventing disease in those who had no evidence of prior coronavirus infection. No serious safety concerns have been observed. Pfizer plans to ask the FDA for emergency authorization of the 2-dose vaccine later this month. The early data from the vaccine shows it to be 90% effective. Pfizer expects to produce 50 million vaccine doses by the end of this year and another 1.3 billion doses in 2021. A USC immunology expert says the vaccine looks promising, but it's still too early to tell.
The results are very, very encouraging. They're very positive. We should feel that we're taking important steps forward. But if the question is, do we break open the bottle of champagne and celebrate? No, it's way too premature for that. We take things like tetanus. That doesn't mean we are completely immune to tetanus. It means that you have to be infected with a very large load in order to become clinically sick. So it's not just going to be a matter of who goes first, but it's going to be an important question of who actually is willing to stick out their arms and take the vaccine.
As COVID-19 cases reach 10 million in the US, President-elect Joe Biden said today he is forming a task force of scientists and physicians to help monitor and contain the spread of the pandemic.
I will spare no effort to turn this pandemic around once we're sworn in on January 20th. To get our kids back to school safely, our businesses growing, and our economy running at full speed again, and to get an approved vaccine manufactured and distributed as quickly as possible to as many Americans as possible, free of charge.
President-elect Biden announced a transition team and their shared COVID plan. Some of the 12 team members include Rick Bright, a former whistleblower from the Trump administration, former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, former FDA Commissioner David Kessler, and Yale professor Dr. Marcella Nunes-Smith. A professor at USC Keck School of Medicine expects this task force to recommend more COVID safety measures.
I think it's going to be more transparent compared to the way Trump's done it, and I think it's also going to be more evidence-based. I think that a lot of the Trump approach has been sort of so politically driven that it's not, why are we doing this? Why aren't we having more leadership on wearing masks and social distancing and things like that? So I think you're going to see a lot of differences in the messaging.
Also today, Housing and Urban Development Specialist Ben Carson tested positive for COVID-19. He's the latest on a growing list of Trump administration officials to test positive, along with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
Kamala Harris made history Saturday night as the first female, first Black, and first South Asian person to serve as vice president. In her acceptance speech this weekend, the vice president-elect talked about what it means to break the glass ceiling.
What a testament it is to Joe's character that he had the audacity to break one of the most substantial barriers that exists in our country and select a woman as his vice president. But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Harris is a graduate of Howard University, a historically Black college in Washington, D.C. The dean of Howard School of Communication says Harris becoming the vice president is significant for all women.
Everybody is ecstatic. They're excited when you get to see someone whose footprints came before you. You understand that I can walk that, I can do that, I can accomplish no matter what I choose to do, whether it's journalism or it's political science or it's health sciences or biology. You have an example saying to you, look what you can do. This is what it means. It shatters that ceiling for all women, particularly African-American women, Asian American women, but all women, white, Latina, you name it, to say you can do anything you want to do and nothing should stop you. I'll use the word, if I can close out with, what she said, the possibilities. And I remember someone saying that to me years ago when I was working with someone in a program, and they said, when you can see something and see the example, it opens up the possibilities. And that's awesome. That is awesome. Just take that glass ceiling and just shatter it down.
I'm Scorziell reporting from Los Angeles. With Kamala Harris's Senate seat now vacant, eyes are on California Governor Gavin Newsom to make a historic appointment. One of his options is to appoint the state's first Latino or Latina to the U.S. Senate.
A lot of people see Newsom as a politician who really likes to make history with his decisions. He's going to be facing a lot of pressure from a lot of different directions about how to fill this seat. There are many people who feel that it would be very important to have a Latino or Latina fill this Senate seat. That is the biggest ethnic group in our state, and there has never been a Latino senator from California.
California Secretary of State Alex Padilla, Representative Karen Bass, and California State Attorney General Javier Becerra are all under consideration for the seat. Even though voters don't have a say on the matter, they say they want someone outside the establishment. A USC Schwarzenegger Institute poll found that 76% of California voters want a senator with a fresh and new voice in politics. Angelenos might also want to keep their eye on Mayor Eric Garcetti, whose name has also been mentioned for the seat. For Annenberg Media, I'm Scorziell. Back to you, Amanda.
This week at USC is all about those who are the first in their families to attend college. The First Generation Plus Success Center has created a lineup of virtual events to honor its students. A coordinator at the center says it's important for these students to have somewhere to go for support.
Oftentimes students get to the university and they experience things such as imposter syndrome or feeling a lack of sense of belonging at the university, and that, you know, with the creation of the center and then also connecting them with other resources on campus, that they know that they belong and that, you know, we are here to support their journeys, and that, you know, there's not one pathway to succeed and thrive at USC.
For more information on events for first generation students this week, head to @FirstGenPlusSC on Instagram.
People everywhere are remembering Alex Trebek, the host of Jeopardy for more than 3 decades. He died yesterday of stage 4 pancreatic cancer. A USC alum who won the Jeopardy College Championship has fond memories of Trebek.
Just from being the host of Jeopardy and people knowing that he's got the correct answers there, he's become this figure that people can trust.
I've seen him on TV ever since I was little, and then being able to actually meet him in real life was honestly like one of the coolest things that I've ever done. It was really inspiring to me, at least, to see how he kept on going, and I think that really showed his dedication and just his love for what he did.
Trebek hosted more than 8,200 episodes of the show for 37 years. Jeopardy will continue airing episodes hosted by Trebek through December 25th, but plans to replace the host have not been announced.
Hi, I'm Carlo Jiménez, reporting from Campbell, California. In a statement released this afternoon, USC Athletics confirmed USC women's basketball has a positive COVID test and has paused all team activities. All of its student athletes are in quarantine due to contact tracing. This is the third USC team to pause activities since the start of the pandemic. Football and men's water polo paused back in late August. The Pac-12 has experienced some problems with positive COVID cases across the league. During weekend 1 of Pac-12 football, 4 teams had to sit out and watch from home due to COVID cases popping up in Berkeley and Salt Lake City, and a lot more teams are at risk in week 2.
Utah's Week 1 game against Arizona was canceled due to COVID-19 cases, and their game versus UCLA has been moved to Saturday. As of now, the Trojans will play the Utes in Utah during Week 3. The ASU versus California game still hangs in the balance due to the 14-day quarantine mandate by the Berkeley Public Health Department.
It should also be noted that UCLA had a positive COVID test last week and still played over the weekend against Colorado. It will be interesting to see how COVID-19 continues to affect the Pac-12 2020 football season.
Hey everyone, I'm Rachel Grode reporting from Los Angeles. The Trojans are gearing up for Game 2 versus the Arizona Wildcats. Coach Clay Helton says that their comeback win versus ASU is giving them the confidence they need to win moving forward.
There's some critical things that we need to get solved in a hurry as we move from one week to the next. This game will build confidence, but it will build reality of how good this team can be with eliminating mistakes.
The Trojans overcame a 13-point deficit to claim victory and beat ASU by 1 point. The number 20 Trojans had 2 touchdowns and recovered onside kick, all within the final 3 minutes of the season opener. But the Trojans nearly lost, which means that they have to prove themselves going forward. Despite Slovis breaking a school record with 40 completions, he threw an interception and the offense committed 3 fumbles, adding to the mistakes they had to overcome in the final minutes.
I'm now joined by my co-anchor, Carlo Jiménez, to talk more about the Trojans and their upcoming season. Carlo, I really do believe that Kedon Slovis being in his 2nd season is really giving him the confidence he needs. He's proven that he's a leader. He threw 381 passing yards this past week, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does for the team.
Yeah, and with Arizona State being one of the better teams USC is going to face all year, if you're able to keep the turnover numbers low, the Trojans have a real shot in going 6-0.
Carlo, it's been great anchoring with you this past semester. Now let's toss it back to news.
The holiday season is fast approaching, and some are already getting into the Christmas spirit. Annenberg Media's Caleb Michael takes a closer look.
Every year, it seems like Christmas decorations go up earlier and earlier. Even my family, we took out our decorations before Thanksgiving this year. Which we never do. But with as crazy as this year has been, everyone needs a little holiday cheer.
Everywhere you look, there are holiday ads and signs up already.
And believe me, I am not complaining. I spoke to one woman who already has her Christmas tree up this year.
We've been decorating early for Christmas in my house for the longest time. And the first thing we do is always decorate the inside of the house. Then we go to the outside of the house where we do the lights on the roof, lights all over the house. So we're really festive with the Christmas decorations.
And even though decorating in early November isn't the norm, she's noticed a lot more people this year as well.
But I feel like it's a lot of people when they were at home during like quarantine, I feel like they kind of just want to feel the spirit of like Christmas and the holidays. So I feel like they kind of rush to it in a way. I don't know, because I've been feeling, I see like a lot of people decorating earlier than they normally do.
I wanted to see if local stores felt this change too. So I went to my local Hobby Lobby and spoke with the manager to see if she had noticed a difference.
Yes, there is a lot more people buying earlier. I don't know if people are scared we're going to shut down again. They want to have their stuff bought. Not quite sure.
Experts say Christmas decorations boost overall well-being. And as the holiday season rolls along, I encourage you to get in the spirit earlier too. For Annenberg Media, I'm Caleb Michael.
Tonight on Quarantine Creatives, a USC student explains how the pandemic has shifted the focus of his photography to a place much closer to his heart. Dan Siemantov has expanded his commercial work with clients to create more meaningful projects during the pandemic. He recently created a series to honor his grandmother overcoming hardship with the goal of inspiring his audience to stay strong during these trying times.
Seeing her strength as a woman and the history and the fight she has to go through in life. My grandmother has gone through prejudice. She's gone from riches to rags. She's seen it all. The world is going through a lot right now, and people think that this is the end. However, I try to bring my grandma to light and show them that she's gone through so much and she did it at our age, and we can do this together. And the great thing during this time of COVID is I focus on the little things, and those small things that give me such joy is what's giving me creativity. Rather, before COVID, I would be so overwhelmed with social media and doing things, and my head would be so distraught that my work wasn't as refined as it is today.
Lauren, I really liked the piece he did to honor his grandmother. I thought it was extremely touching. How did you feel about it?
I thought it was super meaningful and really wonderful that he took this opportunity to create awareness and honor her at the same time. I think that it was really special and something we all needed to see during the pandemic. Some inspiration, right?
Yes, definitely.
That's all we have time for on this Monday. Thanks for tuning in.
From all of us at Annenberg TV News, have a great night.